Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Let's study today about the human reproductive system. As we are already aware that the human reproductive system consists of the male reproductive system and the female reproductive system. But before, let's discuss about the events of reproduction, or how a child is born, or more correctly the processes of development of the baby, which starts with the formation of gametes, which is known as gametogenesis, followed by what we have is insemination, which is the transfer of semen into the female genital tract, which is then followed by fertilization, which is the fertilization of male and female gametes. The male gamete is called the sperm, while the female gamete is called the ovum. After the fertilization, we have implantation of fetus into the uterus, more precisely we can say into the wall of uterus. After implantation, we have the development of the baby, which is called gestation, which is of 9 months in humans, and finally it leads to the delivery of the baby, which is called parturition. Let us now quickly not go in detail and move into our very own topic, the male reproductive system. Talking about the male reproductive system, it has testes, it has the accessory ducts through which the semen passes, after which we have the accessory glands, and finally we have the external genitalia, which is the penis in male. Before going into the details of the structure of the male reproductive system, let's very quickly discuss some important points about the male reproductive system. The male reproductive system is incomplete without the discussion of the testis, which is enclosed in a pouch called scrotum. But why isn't it inside the body like few other animals? Why is it outside our body? This is because sperm needs a temperature of 2 to 2.5 degrees Celsius lower than the internal body temperature. Let's very quickly write it down. I know my handwriting is terrible, but this is for now. Let's very quickly move to the next point, which is the shape of testis. The shape of testis is oval, and if you talk about the dimensions of it, then lengthwise it is 4 to 5 centimeter, while its width could be 2 to 3 centimeter. Now let's move into the internal structure of testes. As we do not have much space here for the internal structure, let's move into another page to discuss the internal structure of testes. The testis is covered by a dense covering which is of course for protection. Going into the internal structure, it has about 250 compartments. I mean, each testis has about 250 compartments, which is called the testicular lobules. And each lobule has about 1 to 3 highly coiled seminiferous tubules. The sperms are stored inside these seminiferous tubules, so it is a very important structure. This might have become boring now, but let's wait for now because we have the diagrams coming up which would make it easy to understand the topic. Let's for now discuss more about the seminiferous tubules. The seminiferous tubules are filled with two types of cells, the male germ cells or the spermatogonia and the Sertoli cells. The male germ cells, as the name suggests, helps in the formation of male gametes, and the Sertoli cells provide nutrition to the male gametes. But we'll go into the functions later. Or let's very quickly write it down. Let us get back to what we have with the seminiferous tubules. As I already told you guys that the seminiferous tubule consists of the spermatogonia and the Sertoli cells, but it also has the interstitial spaces, which is the region outside seminiferous tubule. See, what we have is there are many seminiferous tubules, so they have spaces between them, and the spaces are called the interstitial spaces. So what is the function of it? It has the interstitial cell or the Leydig cell. Let's write it down. So as we were talking about the function of these interstitial spaces, these interstitial spaces contain the well-known Leydig cells, which the Leydig cells secrete and synthesize androgens. As we were discussing, the Leydig cells synthesize and secrete the testicular hormones, which is called the androgen. Which controls the secondary sexual male characters. As we know, which are the beards and the facial hairs, and as we know the masculine characters, these are all provided by the hormones, which is, let's say, testosterone, which is a very good example of male androgen. Let us understand the above topics with the help of a simplified diagram. So what we have here is the structure of the male reproductive system. So we were talking about the seminiferous tubule, which is marked here. Let's first discuss about the seminiferous tubules before going into the details of the male reproductive system. So an enlarged version of this seminiferous tubule is drawn here. This is a single seminiferous tubule, as I already mentioned in the notes, that each testis has about 250 compartment, which has about each compartment has about 1 to 3 seminiferous tubule, and this is a structure of a single seminiferous tubule. Let us match the points which I mentioned in the notes with the structure. So this is seminiferous tubule, and this is the external space which I was talking a while ago, which has the Leydig cells which synthesize the male androgen testosterone. So as you can see that these are three seminiferous tubules and these are the spaces present between them. So as you can see, this is a seminiferous tubule and we have here three seminiferous tubules which is present in a single testicular lobule. So this is the space present in between them, which has the Leydig cell. As I mentioned, they secrete male androgen, which is called the testosterone, which provide secondary sexual characters. And as I mentioned that the seminiferous tubules have the male germ cells, spermatogonia and the Sertoli cells. These are the two types of cells. So here, zooming in, we have the spermatogonia or the male germ cells and the rectangular cells called the Sertoli cells, and these are the in between spaces present outside the seminiferous tube. I hope you understood. Now let's move into the structure of the male reproductive system. Let us now discuss about the structure of male reproductive system. As we previously studied that the male reproductive system consists of the testis, the accessory duct, the accessory gland, and the external genitalia. Let us refer to the NCRT for a while. So this is a male. It has its urine. This is the urinary bladder. This is the rectum. This is the testis. So here we are concerned about the male reproductive system. An enlarged or the cross-sectional or a simplified view is shown below. So this is a typical male reproductive system. This here we have the penis. This is the testis. Let's discuss it with the notes. So we have in the male reproductive system we have the testis. This is the testis. Each male has two testes, or we can say a pair of it. The second is the accessory duct, which is the path of sperm. So these are all the accessory duct through which the sperm passes. Next we have the accessory gland, which provide support to the sperm such as lubrication, motility, which are certain glands present by the system to facilitate the sperm. Next we have the external genitalia or penis. As I already told that this is the penis. Let's now go into the detail. So as we already discussed the structure of testis, we have the testicular lobules, we have the seminiferous tubule inside them. Let us now see the path of sperm or the accessory duct. Let's take the help of a simplified diagram. So this is a simplified diagram of a male reproductive system. This is the testis, we already discussed about it. Now we already wrote that the sperms are produced inside the seminiferous tubules. The spermatogonia undergoes division and leads to the sperm formation. Spermatogonia are present inside the seminiferous tubules. So after the formation of sperm, how does it enter or travels? So let's discuss about it. So here we have is the seminiferous tubule. Inside it, there might be spermatogonia where the sperms are produced. After production, the sperm goes into a structure called the rete testis. Yeah, you heard that right. It's called the rete testis. After which it passes through a canal-like structure which is called vasa efferentia. Yeah, I know that I went into the details, but it is important. Vasa efferentia. After the vasa efferentia, it enters a very important structure which is the epididymis. These three are the detailed structure of the epididymis. Basically, we can call it a epididymis. After which it passes through the vas deferens, and then we have the ampulla, which is the Solon region, and then we have the ejaculatory duct, and then it goes all through the urethra, which is the common passage for sperms and the urine, and then we have the opening called the urethral meatus. Now let us write it down and learn a bit more about them. Summing it up, we have read about the testes. Now let's move to the accessory ducts. Let's use another page for it. As we have seen in the diagram, the duct contains the very first the duct contains the very first rete testis. Let's bring the diagram back. So after the seminiferous tubule, this is the rete testis where the duct starts. After that we have the vasa efferentia. We do not have to go in detail and learn about this, but we have to just remember the names of the structure through which the sperm passes. Then we have the epididymis, which is further divided into caput, corpus, chorda. It's nothing, just the upper portion is called caput, the middle one is called corpus, and the down one is called the chorda, which is not much to mention. Let's just ignore it. We do not have to go in that detail too. After epididymis, we have the vas deferens. Following, we have the very own the Solon region, ampulla, and the last one is ejaculatory duct. Let's let us match these structures with the diagram of NCRT. So we have here is the we can see that we have first rete testis and vasa efferentia, which is present inside the testis. Then we have the epididymis, and then we have the vas deferens, which is the longer tubule extending itself. Then this is the vas deferens. Then further we have the ampulla. We can see in the NCRT ampulla is missing, and then finally we have the ejaculatory duct. So as I discussed that these are the path of sperm which should be learned serially. Let us now, after the discussion of accessory duct, move into our next topic, which we have is the accessory gland. Now let's see what this is. As I discussed that the accessory gland secretes some fluid which helps or which makes the transport of sperm easier. So we have the three structures in the accessory gland. The first is the seminal vesicles, the second is the prostate gland, and the last is the bulbourethral gland. Let's discuss its numbers. The the seminal vesicles are two in number, or we can say they are paired. The prostate gland is single, and the bulbourethral gland is also paired. As we can see by the name that they are endocrine glands which facilitate the movement of sperm. Let us see the structure in the diagram of the NCERT textbook. So this we have is the diagram. The first and the very own we have the seminal vesicles, and then we have the prostate. Seminal vesicles are two in number, paired. Then we have the prostate gland which is single, although it might look that it's two in number but it's single, and then we have the bulbourethral gland which is paired. Let's write about the functions of the accessory gland. The secretions of these glands are called the seminal plasma, which is rich in fructose, calcium, and some other enzymes. We have a separate point about the bulbourethral gland, that they have the function of lubricating the penis. So this was a very short topic. Let's move further. After the accessory gland, we have the penis. We do not have much about the penis. We just have to discuss a few points about it. As we already know that it is the external genitalia. Means it's present externally, and then we already know that it is made up of a special tissue which have the function of erection. But why this erection is needed? To facilitate the entry of semen into the female genital tract. Then we have as a few structure of penis. The outer covering of penis is called the glans penis, which is covered by prepuce or foreskin. So, after the discussion of the penis, let us summarize it all up. So, in the male reproductive system, we have the testis, accessory gland, duct, and the penis. We have discussed about the testis, the accessory duct, the accessory gland, and the penis. Let us talk about the female reproductive system in another video. Thank you. Till then.